coronavirus is affecting all of us. There's no way of escaping from it. Thinking on this, we had the idea of creating a video for all the University of San Carlos community.
In this video, we are gonna talk about vocabulary and expressions of Covid-19. We are not medical professionals, so we are not gonna give any medical advice to you.
The idea of this project is to give you linguistic support for understanding and knowing how to talk about this topic. We are going to highlight the most important vocabulary that you will need to understand and use in conversations about the coronavirus.
We are going to focus on how to talk properly about the new coronavirus, especially if you need to have a conversation with your family members, friends, or your co-workers. We hope you enjoy it. So let's get started.
So let's get started. First of all, let's start with the name of this illness. Officially now, it's called Covid-19. That comes from the word coronavirus disease 2019. So how can we say that somebody has this virus or this illness? There are different ways. For example, you could say, he has Covid-19. Or you can make it in negative form. He doesn't have Covid-19. Another way you could say, he has coronavirus. Or he doesn't have coronavirus. You can also use the article the before the word coronavirus. For example, she has the coronavirus. Or she doesn't have the coronavirus. There are different terms for this illness. They are saying Covid-19, coronavirus, the coronavirus, the new coronavirus, the novel coronavirus. So, as you can see, you might hear different expressions for this illness itself. Another way you can say, a formal way, is they tested positive for coronavirus. The students tested negative for coronavirus.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the symptoms that coronavirus disease causes in people. It is important to say that the virus affects different people in different ways. So the most frequent symptoms are cold. In the sentence, we can say, for example, he has a cold. Another symptom is cough. So we can say, for example, he has a cough. The next symptom is fever. So in the sentence, we can say that she has a fever or she is running a temperature. The next symptom is body ache or body pain. In the sentence, we can say that his body hurts, or yet his chest is aching, or yet she is complaining of chest pain. Another symptom is fatigue or tiredness. We can say, for example, that she is very tired. That symptom of fatigue can be Covid-19. The next symptom is headache. In the sentence, we can say, he has a strong headache. The next symptom is runny nose. So we can say that he is sneezing, or she has a runny nose. Another symptom is difficult breathing. In the sentence, we can say that he has difficult breathing. Another symptom is loss of smell or taste. In this case, we can say that she lost her sense of taste and smell from coronavirus. Another symptom is sore throat. In the sentence, we can say that he has a sore throat. And finally, the last symptom is pneumonia. In the sentence, we can say she was diagnosed with pneumonia. So, when to seek emergency medical attention? Well, when the symptoms are severe, we need to seek help. Which symptoms are these? Trouble breathing, high fever, a persistent pain or pressure in the chest, and inability to wake up or stay awake.
So guys, let's talk about the nouns. Outbreak. There was an outbreak in China. Epidemic. When the outbreak spreads, it becomes an epidemic. Pandemic. The World Health Organization declared Covid-19 as a pandemic. Transmission. They want to limit the transmission of the virus. Isolation. People who have the coronavirus must be in isolation. Quarantine. People who have the virus are asked to be in quarantine. Lockdown. São Paulo is on lockdown.
We are going to have a look now in a few verbs that you might hear in a conversation about the new coronavirus. Of course, there are plenty of verbs that you can also use to express the same situation, but here we are going to highlight a few of them. So one verb that probably already heard is to declare, because the World Health Organization has declared the new coronavirus as a pandemic. Another verb that maybe already heard is to restrict. When you restrict something, it doesn't mean it's totally forbidden. For example, many countries are restricting international flights. So unless you have a good reason for really important travel, you can't go. Especially because now many countries are sealing the borders. They are closing the borders. So to seal and to close is the same meaning here. And it's okay now because we need to avoid traveling. We need to avoid going out. So to avoid is when we try to not do something. The next verb is to shut. We needed to shut down many shops and public places in order to avoid gathering, because many people together in the same place is now banned. It is forbidden. So to ban and to forbid is when we are not allowed to do something. And we had to do that to try to contain the transmission, to try to control the numbers of cases of people with the new coronavirus, so we can finally get to flatten the curve of transmission. Another important verb that you should know is to develop and to test. If you feel sick, you can go to doctor and you can tell him that you feel that you're developing the symptoms, and he can tell you if you were tested positive or negative for the new virus. Because of quarantine, we need to postpone many events. For example, the Olympic Games. So to postpone is just to change the date, to find a new date. It is not to cancel. To cancel, you're not going to do anymore. And to postpone, you just find a new date. And concerned about the fact that we need to stay home, many people started to stock up food or even toilet paper. I still don't know why, but they have inside their house. So to stock up is when we have a certain quantity of some product saved in your house. So when it's over, you have another one.
So now let's look at some adjectives that are being used very often. The first of them is confirmed. Confirmed means yes, for sure, for certain. An example for you is he tested positive for COVID-19. It means that there's no doubt. It's a confirmed case. Next, contagious. They may say that the virus, the COVID-19, is contagious. It means that it can pass easily to others. Other people can get it. Yeah? An example for you is the virus is contagious. It can pass easily to others. So next, we have a pair of words. One is symptomatic. The other one is asymptomatic. If someone is symptomatic, it means that they are showing some signs of the illness, in this case, the COVID-19. But if someone doesn't show any signs of the illness, he or she is asymptomatic. Both of them come from the word symptom. That means a sign of an illness, physical or mental. Unprecedented. Let me give you a sentence to exemplify. All these events are unprecedented in my lifetime. When something is unprecedented, it means that it has never happened before. Okay, all right? Another pair of words that are very often are mandatory and voluntary. Mandatory here means that he has to do, he has to be, he has no choice, he has to do it. It's mandatory. If someone tested positive for COVID-19, it's mandatory for him to be in isolation. The other word is voluntary. When something is voluntary, you can choose. You can decide whether to do it or not. For example, it's voluntary to work from home. In this case, of course, this might not be true everywhere. It depends on the city, on the country you live. Okay? Finally, fatal. Fatal is something, if something is fatal, it means people can die from that. An example for you. COVID-19 can be fatal. People can die. It can kill people.
What shouldn't we do? Stay in public transportation, stay in crowds, go out, visit family and friends, hug others, invite others to your home, and inside the house we shouldn't share personal objects.
Now we will enter the theme of social distancing. First, we will see what not to do in the social distancing, okay? So, don't get close to others. Stay 2 meters away from other people. Don't touch food when going to the supermarket. Don't visit loved ones. Don't invite others home. Don't go out socially, like clubs, restaurants, or parties. Don't go to the hospital unnecessarily. Okay, now we will see what to do in the social distancing. So stay home, except to get medical care. Work from home and keep in touch. Use phone, webcam or cell phone. Now we will see what to avoid in the social distancing. Avoid large groups or crowds. Avoid public transportation like taxis, buses, trains. Avoid handshakes. Avoid hugs and avoid kisses. So, why do we do the social distancing? We do to reduce chances of catching the virus. We do to reduce chances of passing it to others. We do to preserve loved ones' health. We do to collaborate in the reduction of the coronavirus and to flatten the curve of the virus.
We all know that we should stay at home in this moment. But what about if we need to go out? If we need to go to a grocery shop or a pharmacy, for example, what should we do? So once you're out, it's very important that you wear a face mask. It will protect you and the people around you to be contaminated. Try to keep at least 2 meters of distance from others. Limit the time spent in crowded places. Avoid going somewhere that you know is already full. Wash your hands constantly, and if you can, carry hand sanitizer with you. Avoid touching your face, your mouth, your nose, your eyes when you're out. If you need to cough or sneeze, do it use the bend of your arms, just like that. Then, when you come back home and take your mask off, do not touch the front of the mask, but use the ties to hold it. Wash your hands very well for at least 30 seconds, and if it's possible, leave your shoes outside of the house. Wash the products and shopping bags before using it. Then you're gonna be very well protected.
Now we're gonna talk about people who are at risk for coronavirus. If you have diabetes, if you are overweight, too fat, if you have asthma, if you suffer from liver, heart, or lung disease, or hypertension, if you are 60 years and older, if you are pregnant, if you have cancer, if you are a smoker, you are at risk for coronavirus.
What you might hear or even say, these are unpredictable times. I'm concerned about the economy, the world, the future, my friends, my family, my job. I hope this situation improves soon. I hope and pray that everything will be alright.
It is not an easy time. A lot of people are feeling worried, lost, or even depressed. But there is no need to despair. Professionals all around the world are working to fight this pandemic. Let's stay positive. It will be over. All we need to do is to stay calm and follow the medical advice. We need to take care of our health by doing some exercise, eating well, and take some sun if it's possible. Let's make the most of our time with the things we like to do, such as reading a book, watching a movie, listening to music, playing guitar, doing some sports, or learning a new language, or even finding a new hobby. Don't you forget that you're not alone. You can always contact your family and friends by social media. It is important that you contact your beloved ones and share your feelings with them. They will help you to stay strong.
We all know that coronavirus has caused a lot of changes all over the world. So now we're gonna take a look at some consequences of the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, For example, the remote classes. Students had to learn how to study from home. This causes, in many cases, a learning gap, especially when we talk about children who are deprived of socialization at school that is so important to their development. Another change was in the way of relationships. Some couples could not see each other. People learned to chat mostly online, especially to hold meetings that were previously performed in person. We can also cite the mental health context. Fear, worry, and stress are feelings that show up when we are faced with uncertainty or the unknown. Faced with new realities, like working from home, homeschooling of children, and lack of physical contact with other family members and friends, it is important that we look after our mental as well our physical health.
Now I'm going to mention 3 consequences of COVID-19 in our society. The first and worst is unemployment. COVID-19 has brought millions of unemployed people. It's a hard reality people are facing nowadays. Some workers were fired, while others had their wages reduced to half or less. The second is home office. Home office is a room in a person's home where he or she does office work. To help stop spreading COVID-19, many companies are implementing voluntary or mandatory work from home policies. And finally, telemedicine. Telemedicine refers to remote clinical services, which is a remote treatment of patients by means of telecommunications technology. The most important aspect of telemedicine is its capacity to cater to the needs of the patient from any place at any given time.
So that was it, guys. If you're interested to know more about this topic, you can find below in the description the link to our booklet, where you can review and practice everything you learned here. So thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoy it. Bye! Stay at home.